Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon, depends on who you ask. People sit on street corners on tiny stools from dawn until midnight, and why not when the iced coffee is strong enough to restart your heart and the people watching never stops.
I don't know how we just crossed that.
This is probably not the Vietnam you've been taught to imagine. For a lot of people, Vietnam is still frozen in grainy war footage. 50 years ago, Saigon fell, tanks rolled through these streets, a war ended, and a city got renamed. But today, it's Vietnam's economic powerhouse that's creating a new version of what Vietnam is.
So over the next 2 days, we're figuring out what Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, or whatever you want to call it, is today. The street food that costs $2 and ruins you for everything else.
This is delicious.
The tourist sites that actually worth it.
This is something.
And some that they are not.
I think this trip is about to be the adventure of a lifetime.
We're finally here. We wanted to come to this country for several years. Now we're gonna enjoy it.
We have so much to see, so we're going to be exploring in style. We're meeting up with Ho, and this should be an interesting way to get around.
A very interesting way.
Oh my god. Woo!
This is gonna be cool.
Naturally, our ride is an all open-air American Jeep with no doors and hand-operated windshield wipers. Make of that what you will. But look, this is a natural way of getting around the city, so we're not asking any questions.
Now this is the way to see Vietnam, not constrained by windows. Open air, surrounded by motorcycles. Ah!
The first thing that caught my attention is the traffic jam of motorcycles that you can see. Whoa.
It's just like how you thought.
Exactly.
They warned us about this, but nobody actually comprehends the motorbikes until they're right in the middle of them. The scale of it just doesn't translate on video. There are more motorbikes registered in Ho Chi Minh City than some countries have cars. Cars do exist here, but between the cost and the parking, two wheels just wins. On major holidays, our guide told us 6 or 7 million bikes hit these streets. The whole city just rides.
A single person and one motorbike here.
Wow.
Only $1,000. You can drive for 20 years. Still good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And for a car, we need to pay for a lot of other tax.
Traffic signals, if present, are just a suggestion, yet we see no accidents. Somehow they figure it out.
Let's go.
I don't know how we just crossed that.
The good thing is I'm not driving over here, otherwise I will be stressed. And you see all kind of things on top of the motorcycles. We see like 6 big bags of ice, durian, and of course 2 kids at the same time. So weird.
And between the motorbikes, we rush past tiny plastic stools pulled to the curb while locals slurp their breakfast. Vendors pushing carts through gaps of traffic, and lots of people just sitting in coffee shops on the corner, simply taking it all in. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know. This is not like any other country we've been to yet.
This is what I call controlled chaos.
As much as we can watch this street for 48 hours straight, Ho has other plans. He brings us to the Jade Emperor Pagoda, a 100-year-old site where the noise of the city somehow disappears.
Vietnam doesn't really do one religion. Instead, you find a mix of Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism that's the result of centuries of influence. So you might burn incense at a Buddhist altar, follow Confucian values back home, and visit Taoist temples for specific prayers. Here, the Jade Emperor itself is a Taoist deity, while the statues are Buddhist.
Pagoda was so gorgeous, so simple, but really, really cool to see all the different gods here that you could pray to. We couldn't film inside, but worth taking a stop into.
How is Ho Chi Minh different from Hanoi?
It's very different from the lifestyle. You know, like in here we're more busy, more lively, more energies.
Right.
And always hot and hotter. Never cold, never rainy. Hanoi is always cloudy, always raining. And the way they design the street in Hanoi, I mean a lot of old buildings, old quarter. But in Saigon, it ain't only about 500 years old.
Okay.
And that's why in here we also got more things, new things than Hanoi.
Yeah.
And in here we have a lot of colonizers from French, from Chinese, and from US. Make the people in here, we are very modern and thinking. For this reason, Ho Chi Minh City become the financial city of Vietnam, where the young people can find a job, can find a girlfriend, and start a new life in here. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love
Yeah.
the energy of the city. You can feel it.
I mean, this is the way to get around. Obviously, we can't do scooters because we would die.
But for this kind of chaos, I think a Jeep, it works very good.
It's great because they're just dropping us off at all these main sites and then heading out and just kind of circling around while we look around.
And how comes with us and explain us every single thing about history and about the place, so it's perfect.
Our next spot to see is the Independence Palace, or the Reunification Palace, depending again who you ask. This is where the Vietnam War ended in April the 30th, 1975. A North Vietnamese tank crashed through the front gate, and years of conflict was finally over.
It's incredible that the tanks are still here in the exact same position as when they arrived. The symbolism in this place is so cool. It's important to know that if you visit here.
The building itself was designed in a way that incorporates different elements of feng shui. The colors were chosen to convey certain emotions. Animals were placed strategically to bring in different energies. And the layout of the entire palace forms a Chinese character meaning fortunate.
One thing is coming over here just to see the palace, but another one is to come with a guide that explains you the symbolism behind every single one of the rooms. It's amazing. I'm loving this tour.
We take a look around at the various meeting rooms and bedrooms, but it's the downstairs bunker that makes the biggest impression on us. It's still frozen in 1975. There's still radio equipment here and original maps of the war with military markings. It's hard to believe that these concrete rooms are where people made decisions that cost hundreds of thousands of lives. The contrast between this bunker and the room upstairs tells you more about the Vietnam War than most books will.
You mentioned that Vietnam is a really young country, right? Like most of the population is young, so I imagine a lot of people then haven't lived through the war, or they don't really remember it.
I mean, the people joined the war, they all died already. But the young people, we don't want to know too much about the history. People just want to enjoy their life. No politics, no war, no religion.
Do you think there's still any animosity or like bad feelings towards Americans?
No. We love America, my friend. That is always look in the future.
Yeah.
We don't want to look in the past because despite the war happened, we try to do a lot of good things to connect together.
That answer actually surprised us. But before we can digest it, Hao already has another place he wants to take us.
Now we're going to the War Museum, and it's very important for the history of Vietnam.
Best museum, yes.
The best museum, all right.
Only 6,000 tourists one day.
Whoa.
Maybe sometimes up to 12,000 tourists.
Oh my gosh.
Hao told us that the relationship with America today is good, but when you're standing in front of photographs that document what was done to this country in extraordinary, unflinching detail, the American planes, the tiger cages, the documentation of Agent Orange's generational effects, it's all completely devastating. And what Hao said keeps coming back to me, that there's no resentment, that Vietnam chose to move forward.
Not gonna lie, this one was a very difficult one to see. Like I had to step away a couple times because I started getting a little teary-eyed. You have to remember like how history does repeat itself, and so it's so important for us to see places like this. And important for us to travel too, right? Mm-hmm. And remember, at the end of the day, we're all just humans. We all just want love and happiness, and I don't have eloquent words to express how I feel.
I think the word that we're looking for is empathy,
Yeah. We get back into the army jeep. Nobody says it out loud, but we all notice. And then it's on to happier topics.
A few minutes away is the Saigon Central Post Office. It was built between 1886 and 1891, while Vietnam was under French colonial rule. This looked like somebody picked up a Parisian railway station and dropped it in the middle of Southeast Asia. And that makes sense. The French were here nearly a century and they left their mark on everything. The baguette that became the banh mi, the coffee culture, the Latin alphabet that Vietnamese is still written in today, and clearly the architecture.
So beautiful. This is something. Actually, you can send a real postcard and it's gonna take about 4 weeks to get to your home. It's amazing.
The postcards here are really beautiful. And look, I have to ask, do you still send postcards when you travel? because I'm convinced there's two types of people in this world, and we need to know which one you are.
But here's what's actually on my mind. We've been in this city for hours and we've not eaten pho yet. That is a problem. Hao seemed personally offended by this. So he did what any good guide does, and at the end of our tour, he drove us straight to one of his favorite spots near our hotel, made sure we knew exactly what to order, and then disappeared into Saigon traffic like he was never there. This tour with Hao was fantastic, and if you'd like to book it for yourself, we'll leave a link down in the description.
Got the Michelin if you want to take a photo.
Michelin select.
Oh, yes. Of course. Noodles is always a good idea.
Table for two.
Smells so good. This one over here.
Okay, one number 5.
One number 5, please. For her, she's gonna get the 1, Emma?
Yeah, I'll do the one.
Okay, number 1.
This is Pho Viet Nam. Pho is the country's national dish, and is a broth-based soup that's been simmering from anywhere between 6 to 12 hours. It originated in the north, but eventually traveled south to Ho Chi Minh, where it picked up a few new ingredients along the way, and is typically sweeter than the north. The broth is the real star of this dish, and everything else like the rice noodles, the thin slices of beef, the herbs, the sauces, the lime juice, those are what you customize. That is why it arrives deconstructed.
I don't know how to do this.
We have never eaten pho, so it's time like this that we're thankful for Olafly, who has partnered with us to bring you this video. You guys have seen us using eSIMs all over the world, and there's a reason for that. They're easy to set up. You just select how many days you need coverage, scan the QR code, and you're done. The eSIMs are ideal for the traveler who doesn't want to keep track of how much data they are using, because unlike other carriers, this data is totally unlimited.
That makes a difference when we need to quickly find a good restaurant. Use Google Translate to read a menu or communicate with the staff. And do a quick Google search on how to best eat a dish so we don't mess it up. We also like that they offer regional plans, so every moment of our time in Asia, from the layover in Tokyo to the few days we spent in Korea before this, have been covered without needing to switch eSIMs. For anyone who bounces between countries the way we do, that alone is worth it.
If you're looking for a reliable eSIM that gives you unlimited data for just a few bucks a day, use the code TOURISTLOCAL for 5% off on your next eSIM, no matter where you're traveling in the world. You can also find the link in the description.
This is delicious.
Believe it or not, this is my first time actually trying pho. But the thing that stood out to me so much is that taste of cinnamon. It wasn't something I was expecting, especially because we had just come off of traveling through Japan, where we had a lot of ramen. I actually really enjoy this. And even though it's really hot today, kind of like balancing out hot and hot, so it works weirdly, and this is delicious. Honestly though, I think we may have made a mistake going to a Michelin recognized place first, because like now we're just going to be comparing it to this.
From here it goes down.
I guess so.
What a lot of people don't know is that actually this dish is taken by a lot of people in the morning or maybe in the lunch, but it's not something that they have for dinner, which is perfect for after all that driving in the Jeep. It's the perfect thing because it just hits the spot. So the price for all that, including 2 guava juices, it was $10. That's insane.
Absolutely ridiculous for a Michelin recognized place. You could get it even cheaper actually if you go to more of the local spots around here, about like $2 a bowl.
But with that extra money that we have in our budget, maybe we're gonna buy something in our next place.
Yeah, we're heading to a market that's nearby here that's supposed to have some pretty cool stuff.
Let's go.
Our next stop is Ben Thanh Market, if we can figure out how to cross the street without Hao here. This has been the commercial heartbeat of the city since the 17th century. This was where merchants sailed in from the Mekong Delta to trade. The French formalized it, burned it down, rebuilt it, burned it again, and eventually opened the current building in 1914. Over 100 years later, it's still here and selling everything you need, and a lot of things you do not.
Middle of the day is absolutely chaotic here, and they sell some really good figs. Might need to pick some up. We will see. Oh my god, wait.
Oh, wait.
Wait a minute. Why am I a sucker for this? They have fake Birkins.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now, fair warning. If you're expecting an untouched traditional market, this isn't quite that anymore. You have to haggle. Prices start high, and vendors there are very good at their jobs.
Amor, how does this compare to markets in Mexico?
They are very similar. They're very, very similar.
Everyone's yelling at you, wanting you to come to their stand. Right now we're in the food area.
Yeah, especially over here is whenever they're yelling at you.
It all smells so good though.
In our opinion, you can skip this if you're not big into shopping. Before we keep going, we think there are a few things you need to know before your first trip here.
First, Ho Chi Minh City is divided into districts, and where you stay shapes your whole experience. We were in District 1, which puts you in the middle of everything, and Saigon is at full volume around the clock. That last part, though, is both the appeal and the problem. We liked the access, but next time we'll look into District 3, which is still central, but has a much more local feel that you can actually sleep. We'll link some hotels that are more our style in the description.
2 things you need to sort before you even leave home. First, download Grab to get around. When you register, it sometimes requires a text to your home number, so make sure you do it before you leave. Second, you need a Vietnam visa. Apply a few weeks before your trip and be careful because there's a lot of unofficial sites that look legitimate. Even we got mixed up. We're gonna leave the correct government link in the description.
And one more thing, your day here should revolve around coffee. Vietnamese coffee is genuinely some of the best in the world, and the city takes it seriously. Which brings us to our next stop.
4 o'clock right now, everybody's leaving work and it's crazy on the streets.
Yeah, right now it's the perfect time for a little afternoon pick-me-up. So Martine told me that there's an area with some really cool cafes, and he took me here. I don't see any cafes in front of me.
But if you look up, maybe you can see it. We have to decide which one we're going, and there's too many to choose. I don't know if we like mini, I don't know.
These are the Café apartments. Built in 1960, it originally hosted French officers, then American military advisors, then government workers after reunification. For decades, it just sat here, slowly decaying. Then, around 2015, something quite remarkable happened. Young Vietnamese entrepreneurs started renting out the old apartments and converting them to cafes and boutiques, 1 unit at a time.
The result is something that shouldn't work as well as it does. The staircases are still worn and the paint is peeling, but there's something kind of charming about it. We decided to take the elevator to the top with the goal of walking down each floor until we find a cafe we like. Naturally, we end up stopping at the first one we see.
We decided to try the famous salt coffee.
Yeah, it is so good. In case you're not familiar, pretty much a super strong espresso with a kind of like condensed milk and like a salt whipped cream is so good.
It's so good, day.
Yeah, that's the one we ended up picking. The one on the very, very top. Fantastic view. We do not have decaf,
No.
so we are about to be jacked up. But luckily, we know a good street to be jacked up on.
Let's go. Probably the most famous street over here. It's 640 meters from the city hall to the river. All walkable, a lot of things to do over here, and full of life, especially at night.
This is Nguyen Hue Street, and if you hear the name Nguyen here a lot, there is a reason. 40% of people have that as their last name here, which shows as their first name if you're looking at like a name tag. So you're bound to run into somebody with that name.
This walking street at night draws everybody out. Tonight, it seems there's a market down the middle and some kind of installation that people are excited about. We don't have much interest in returning back to our hotel anytime soon when the city looks like this.
I thought Ho Chi Minh, it was cool during the day, but then in the night, it lights up and it's a completely different animal.
Somehow, there are more motorbikes than this morning. We didn't think that was physically possible. Oh good, it's time to eat again. And tonight we made a rule to find a spot that isn't on Instagram, doesn't have a reservation system, and looks nothing like a restaurant back home. Somewhere out there on these streets, something is cooking and we're ready to try it.
Oh, finally. Oh my gosh. I've always wanted to do the little stools. This is a huge bucket list. Huge bucket list. I love the little stools.
So we're trying com tang, and we're doing the way that it's supposed to be. Over here, almost in the floor, eating with the locals. This is a dish that has a little bit of everything and is from here, from Saigon, from Ho Chi Minh. So we're very lucky that we find this place.
This is delicious. It has a little bit of everything. It has rice, egg, noodles, pork, cucumber, some pickled stuff, a little bit of a steamed egg omelet. This is incredible. You just kind of take a little bit of bite of everything, try to get as much flavor in your mouth as possible. And these are the types of places we love finding. They're barbecuing right on the street. So cool.
What do you order to drink, honey?
Oh my gosh, yeah, to drink, delicious. I'm guessing coconut water. They just said, you want coconut? Sure, coconut. Yum.
Day 2, we're leaving the city because the Mekong Delta is only 1.5 hours away south of Ho Chi Minh City. It's one of the most important river systems in Southeast Asia and the agricultural backbone of Vietnam. But according to the internet, it's either absolutely worth it or a complete waste of a day depending on who you ask. We found a Get Your Guide tour for $34 each, which for 9 hours with everything included felt like a no-brainer. So we decided to give it a test to see if it's actually tourist to local approved.
We leave the city, and after about 2 hours, we arrived to Vinh Trong Pagoda. This was a pleasant surprise. This place was built in the early 19th century and has an interesting mix of styles that we only noticed after our guide pointed them out. There's French colonial archways, Chinese decorative tiling, Japanese rooflines, and Vietnamese Buddhist icons, all on the same building. Vietnam recognized it in the record books as the first pagoda in the country to combine Eastern and Western architecture. All right, off to a good start.
From there, we head down to the dock where we grab a motorboat onto the Mekong River. The water is white and brown. It's not Cancun, but it's still nice to be in the water. Clearly, other tourists who thought this was a waste of time have their standards too high.
We're going to 2 Islands today, so right now we're in the river. It's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes in this nice little boat.
Yeah, we have a lot of different things we're going to be trying to along the way. I'm very excited.
The first island starts with honey tea, and hey, it's pretty good. There's a hive to look at, a quick photo, and a small sample. And then, 2 minutes later, another group walks in with the same introduction, same hive, same sample. And then the shop owner comes around with products to sell. She's a little aggressive, but we continue to decline. It's fine, tours have gift shops, and we know this.
Let's see how this goes.
We're ready for everything.
Second stop is the Coconut Candy Factory. We were told we will see how it's made.
Another selling place. We ain't buying nothing. We ain't buying jack.
What we actually find is an open-air gift shop where, for reasons that they are never fully explained, our guide is demonstrating the process herself. She can't quite open the coconut, but there are samples and plenty of time to browse. That's now 2 gift shops in the first hour.
Personally, we don't like the tourists whenever they try to sell us something. I mean, I'm Mexican. I know that. I know that trick.
We're really good about avoiding this type of stuff on this channel. I feel like we kind of let you guys down. We'll see how the rest of this pans out. I don't know, maybe it could turn around, but maybe we're jaded. I don't know. Maybe this is entertaining to some. A lot of people look happy here, but this just isn't our sort of thing.
Our guide tells us we're lucky because our next stop is local fruit and live traditional music. Now we're talking, except the music is 2 30-second songs and then a tip jar appears. Then somehow a snake for photos? The fruit was excellent though.
I don't know what we got ourselves into anymore.
Me neither.
And now the boat ride, the thing we actually came for. Except the river's packed with tourists and we learned the ride is pretty short.
It's giving Jungle Cruise vibes at Disneyland, no? That's exactly what this is like. Everybody get online, get your phones out. Got 15 minutes to get as much content as possible.
Good news is we got the shots and we wore these hats. After, we were directed into the restaurant for lunch with 2 hours to kill before the bus.
We just finished lunch and it was actually delicious.
I loved, they gave us like this, I thought it was an omelet, but then it tasted like coconut pancake
Right.
something with like some bean sprouts.
What I
Ooh.
like is like they were making, well, in my Mexican vision, they were giving us taquitos made of like the rice paper.
Oh yeah.
That was so good with fish inside.
The spring rolls, yeah,
Spring
so
rolls.
good. I think though that you guys, little behind the scenes, you know, sometimes it's really awkward to be recording YouTube videos when you're on a group tour. I
Right.
think everyone's confused about what we're doing.
But let's go to the chase. We're very protective of you guys and we always have to be straight with you guys.
Yeah, so I don't think this one's tourist local approved, and that's very rare for us to say. We can usually find the silver lining in most things, but this, I don't know.
Earlier in the video, that Jeep tour was amazing. I totally recommend it to see it. But this one, I don't know if it's worth it 8 hours of your day in another country just to come over here.
I'd rather be hauled up in a cafe with a little egg coffee, you know, just watching the scene in front of me in Ho Chi Minh. No?
Totally.
So, not tourist local approved, but we're glad we did it so that you guys don't have to.
That's right.
Now let's head back to Ho Chi Minh and try to make the most of the rest of the day that we have.
Definitely. Let's go over there because, oh my god, this is our last night over here.
Ah!
By the time we make it through rush hour traffic, we were back at Ho Chi Minh City at dinner time. So we hit the streets, which is how we find Xôi Gà Number One.
This is absolutely more our style. Xôi Gà, which is sticky rice with chicken, simple, on the street, people passing by in the back, we're eating on stools again. This is more our style for sure. I'll take this any day of the week.
The chicken is very juicy, and then there's like some crispy thingamajigs on top. I can't figure it out what it is. The key is to mix both of these sauces, and it's easy, not pretentious. This is her style.
This place is recognized by Michelin, but yet it still is like so understated. Just a hole in the wall place. I love spots like this.
So, was Ho Chi Minh worth it? We came in wondering what the city was beyond the war history. 2 days later, we have our answer. It's a city that still can't agree on its own name, runs on coffee and motorbikes, and is actually a really nice place to start your time in Vietnam. The Mekong Delta tour we could have skipped, but everything else we would do again.
This is just the beginning of Vietnam. We have 4 more episodes coming out. And next time, we're going to Hanoi, where you get to join us to our first ever group trip. So long, travel well, and make the world your neighborhood.